I caught my wife in a hotel being unfaithful with a boy. She says I wasn't giving her enough attention. Need help, caught my fiancé at a hotel with a guy. So let me try to sum this up and paint the picture as best as I can. Me, 38, and my fiancé, 40, have been together for 4.5 years and have a 20-month-old daughter together. She has a 19-years-old daughter from a previous relationship. So I would say the issues started after our daughter was born. She started complaining that I wasn't giving her enough attention, being attentive to her, I wasn't pursuing her anymore or taking her out. I tried explaining to her things are different because she have a child which requires a lot of our attention, and that I would try to work on those things. I recall one fight got really bad about a year ago and she told me she wasn't in love with me anymore and that the spark was gone between us and didn't know if it could ever get it back. So anyway, we ended up getting past that and moving on. About 2 months ago we got into a big fight because her older daughter was going for a cyst removal procedure and I didn't call to check up on her throughout the day, and I tried to explain I was extremely busy at work that day and that I couldn't. So she went off on me and how I'm selfish, narcissistic, a POS and only care about myself. I was honestly caught off guard by it, so I got angry in return and we just stopped talking. She was scheduled to go back to her country the next week to visit her mom and sisters. The whole week went by and we didn't talk or anything. I drove them to the airport and dropped them off and nothing, still didn't talk. She gets there and texts me, "We need to talk," and I'm still super angry about the situation and I tell her, and she replied, "Oh wow, okay." So she's there for 10 days and I only talked through FaceTime with my daughter. When she would pick up she would just hand the phone to my daughter. So we didn't speak that whole time and she gets back, I go pick them up from the airport, we're still not talking. Very awkward. This is going on 2.5 weeks now, not talking. One day after work, it's the day before Halloween, and I get home and she's showering and dressed very revealing and tells me she's going out with friends. Okay, I stay home with our daughter and she gets home at 6 a.m. The next day I went off on her, calling her every name in the book saying how she could be out till that time. She tell me that we haven't talked in almost 3 weeks and that she basically considers us not together at this point. We eventually sort of make up but didn't really get any real clarity on this, we're not together BS. So anyway, at this point we're talking, not how we normally would, she's acting sort of cold and distant, but I'm trying to do little things to make her happy. One night after work I calls her and she tells me she's going out to eat with family at a restaurant, so I go there to surprise them. I get there and call and she tells me they changed their minds and went to a different place, so I ask where and she wouldn't tell me. Very strange. My gut at this point tell me something is up, so I order a tracking device and put it in her car. One day after work I call her 4x, she doesn't pick up, she calls me back and I hear an echo in the background like she was in a bathroom, so I ask her why she's calling me from a bathroom when she told me she was getting a massage, that why she couldn't just pick up the phone on the chair. She gives some BS excuse, so then I ask her, I have a feeling something is going on, can you tell me the truth, and she goes, why you feel guilty, are you doing something? And hangs up the phone on me. I checked the GPS on the tracking device and it's right in front of a hotel when she told me she was at a massage parlor. Feeling of rage, betrayal, and just beyond hurt. So I steer driving towards this hotel and get there and see her car parked right in front. I sit and wait for about an hour and finally I see her walking out with a guy. I storm towards them, get in both their faces. Jesus help me how I didn't put my hands on this dude, and I cursed her out. The hotel called the cops on me. I was so irate, I was seeing red. I get in my car and drive home. She eventually comes home too, and tries to justify that she's been asking for me to be more attentive, fun, going out more passion, and that I didn't give it to her for over a year and that she had enough and that she considered herself single, that I pushed her to that point. So then she confesses that she's been talking to this dude since she went to her country about a month ago, and that he's been going to her job being her food. They went out to lunch, and the night she was out until 6 a.m., she was with him. But get this, she claims they never had sex, all they did was kiss, and that it was more emotional than physical. Like, how ridiculous does she think I am? And goes know how much information she's telling me. I'm sure there's much more to it. It's been 2 weeks now and sometimes I feel disgusted. Vivid images of her doing it come to my mind. And I confront her about it and she will not admit to it. She even swore on both her daughters. Where to go from here? I'm sure everyone will tell me to just leave, but it's not easy. Update 3 weeks after catching fiancé at hotel with guy. So it's been 3 weeks now and every single day is a struggle. I'm trying to make things work but deep inside I resent/disgusted by her and don't know how much longer this realistically will last. I find myself asking her details about the month she considered herself single, and when I do she says things like, it doesn't matter what happened during that time, we weren't together, I could have done it with a million guys, it doesn't matter, I do care, maybe I'm crazy and want to torture myself but you would like to know the full extent of what happened. How do I respond to her when she says that? I feel like she's disregarding my feelings, she gets annoyed and it basically turns into a fight. Oh sure, they got a hotel room just to kiss. Sounds legit. OP, why can't you admit that you did it together? And it probably wasn't the first time either, I'm willing to bet. RP, studies show her response is common. When caught, all cheaters go into damage control, to save a safe relationship or avoid shame. The, we just kissed, or talked, or he couldn't get it up is the basic BS response. Inform her that adults don't sneak around texting and meeting in hotel to just kiss etc. Therefore, unless she can prove otherwise you will consider her a cheater. And whatever relationship problems you share 50-50, she is 100% responsible for her decision to cheat. She is not just a cheater but a liar. She can't say, trust me. Dude. You let this situation get out of hand. I'm not saying he was right to cheat, but ending it all would be nice. Not checking up on her daughter. These are not things you do when you're trying to make a relationship work. These are the kind of actions that leave her open and enables some ridiculous the ability to give her the affection she's not receiving at home. This relationship is too far gone for recovery. You need to move on and just figure out a way to co-parent the child you have with her. I bet he did. Cheaters always give the least amount of info to you so they don't look as bad as they really are. Not that I think it justifies her cheating, but you're in body. This relationship is done and it's not all on her infidelity. It's over long before that. Go your separate ways and concentrate on being the best parents you can. And FYI, having a kid doesn't mean it's okay to neglect your wife physically and emotionally. My wife and I had our first child 9 months ago and if anything I pursue her more now than before. I go out of my way to make sure she feels loved and wanted. Don't use kids as a cop-out for you prioritizing yourself and your job. She sucks for not leaving you and instead cheating on you. That is ridiculous and wrong. You suck for everything else. So to sum it all up, for several years your spouse has told you that she is lacking your attention. That she feels like you are putting everything before her and your response to that is that you haven't been able, for years, to find any time to give to her even when her daughter is in surgery. She continues to bring this up and is obviously now resenting you because of it, and you further invalidate her feelings by getting angry at her because she is mad at you and now your worst fears are happening. The first thing you need to do is realize your role in this. You cannot logically say that you didn't have any time whatsoever to give to her. You just figured because the argument died down that the problem did too. Cheating is never the right answer. But, you need to humble yourself and look at this logically and see your role in this. You need to stop getting angry when she expresses her feelings. You aren't being attacked, even if it feels like you are. And your reactions to her expressing how she feels pushed the situation to where it currently sits. You don't make it work. You kick her to the curb and get yourself in therapy. She is narcissist POS who doesn't care about your feelings. RN, you need to be alone and process the entire stuff. You shouldn't be with her now or in the future. OP, consider yourself fortunate. She is not wife material. How do you respond to her? Goodbye is the correct response. Don't settle for a person who is not devoted to a relationship with you alone. Move on, leave her in the dust. Fair winds and following seas. It's very simple. If you go through with the marriage, you're making the greatest mistake of your life. There's nothing good that could possibly come from this relationship unless you're into those things. Put her on the curb with the trash and begin the healing process. Stop asking questions and stop fighting with her. She shouldn't see love, disgust, hate or any other emotion from you right now. What she should see is complete indifference from you. She is showing you no empathy or remorse, so she doesn't deserve any emotion of any kind from you. Practice the 180 with her. If anything will help you, this will.